to be fit for the throne? And will their father, Prince Charles, ever marry Camilla Parker Bowles? Joining us tonight from New York, best-selling biographer, veteran royal watcher Robert Lacey. His latest book is Monarch. In Washington, another bestseller, Kitty Kelley, author of The Royals. In London, another best-selling author and royal watcher, Hugo Vickers. And Harold Brooks Baker, the publishing director of Burke's Peerage. The coming of age of the Playboy Prince. Next on Larry King Live. We, by the way, during this opening segment, will be showing you some extraordinary photographs. These are photographs taken by Mario Testino of young Harry, and they were done recently, and we're going to show them to you as we discuss him. And Robert Lacey, why is Harry turning 18 a story?
Well, it's coming of age, obviously. There's the magic of one of Diana's boys, the boy we saw walking so bravely through the streets at his mother's funeral. And of course, as you've already made clear, there is this intriguing aspect of the wicked Harry. Is he going to be the new black sheep of the royal family? The success of the British monarchy depends so much on the characters of the people concerned, and it's been through some bad times in the 1990s, and a lot of the hopes for the monarchy in the future rest upon Harry's character.
Do you buy the concept, Kitty, that he is changed, that the wild ways are done, he's going to get involved with charities and the like, he's different?
I think we're seeing a new side to him. No, I don't think Harry's changed. But I do think the embracing of the charities is a wonderful tribute to his mother. As a matter of fact, we've had a lot of news stories lately about people in the news whose children have been busted for drugs and drinking. And Harry could give a good lesson to Al Gore's son, to President Bush's daughters. I mean, it's a very wise and helpful thing to do.
Do you, Hugo, think that it's a significant change, or do you think that still part of that might tread on Harry's soil?
Well, I think that it's always very good for a teenager at the age of 18 to be looking outwards instead of inwards. What he's going to have the opportunity to do is to learn an awful lot and to contribute things, and he'll probably discover that the world out there is a much more interesting place than a place to kind of fool around in, which inevitably he's done a certain amount of in the last few months.
Harold Brooks Baker, are we being fair in calling him the wild child? The wild child. Was he? Is it all true about pot smoking and drinking and the like?
Well, I think that he experimented the way many young people do today, and young people have always experimented with something or other over hundreds of years. I think the great problem is that there is no real place for the second in line. To have the heir, and then as the newspaper said, the spare, sounded very good at the time, but the spare usually ends up in despair, as poor Princess Margaret did, as my friend Charles of Luxembourg, who was the brother of the Grand Duke, did. The guy who is waiting in line usually has nothing to do except wait. In America, they used to say that the vice president has nothing on his mind except the health of the president. And in a way, that is all that poor Harry has, except now he's latched on to the idea of furthering his late mother's charity work, and that might save him. It'll certainly help a great many people, as indeed she did.
It is it not, Robert Lacey, very difficult to be second in line? I mean, barring unexpected things, he's never going to be king.
As Harold's just put his finger right on it, I mean, William's got an easy job. He is the heir. And, you know, there are problems that go with that. Recently in the British press, there's been much speculation as to whether poor William is going bald already and has got a bald spot, and that's not a nice thing for a young kid to have to deal with. But Harry's got the more difficult job to define what a spare is. And interesting when Harold mentioned there Princess Margaret. She saw it as a tragedy, the fact she wasn't queen. Of course, being in a position like this is a tremendous springboard for yourself and for all the good you can do. And I think by looking at his mother's example, and looking out, as Hugo says, he's already showing very promising signs of developing something new.
Are the brothers close, Kitty?
They're very close, Larry. They bonded very closely during their parents' divorce, and they became very close during their mother's awful death. They are close, and I think that William goes out of his way to be quite protective of Harry. You know, I think the real news story would be Harry turns 18 and declares himself interested in a profession, so that the baby son of the most dysfunctional family in the world might be interested in getting a job.
How about that?
Then we'd have a news story.
Hugo, what are the possibilities that Harry might go to work?
Well, I think he is going to work, and actually I rather disagree with all that. I mean, I think that the sort of work that he is doing is exactly right, because you wouldn't necessarily invent a hereditary monarchy, but since we have one, you have a boy who's 18, who's grown up, people want to see him, he wants to see them, he can go out and he can achieve a lot, and as I said before, he can learn a lot. Much better, actually, than going into the competitive market. We've seen a certain amount of trouble, particularly perhaps with Prince Edward and his various problems when he tries to take a so-called normal job. Now, I think this is a much better solution.
Harold, does he, with this involvement with the charities, is this like a full-time thing? Is he going to be involved where he one day becomes director of this? This is going to take him round the clock?
Well, I think that it's too early to tell. However, many ordinary jobs will be denied him for the simple reason that people are frightened, and the palace is even more frightened, of seeing him face the same problems that Prince Edward did. In other words, people trying to get at him and use him because he is a member of the royal family. So there's no reason why he shouldn't have many interests. He could obviously go into one of the services, which is usual, and he could carry on the charity work. There are many things he can do, but what he must do is to develop a life of his own and not just a life waiting to see if his brother carries on.
Where does he...
remember when the Duke of Windsor...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
When the Duke of Windsor stepped down, as Edward VIII, his brother was not prepared for that post, and George VI took quite a time to adjust, probably never really adjusted. His strong, able, attractive wife, the late Queen Mother, made it possible and helped him become one of the most popular monarchs in history, but it was never really quite right. I think that you need to have a two-tier system here. One, a man, as he grows into manhood, who has a life of his own, but is prepared to take over if anything should happen to the heir or the king. And this is a job that no one envies. To be poor Prince Harry is the last job in the world that any intelligent person would wish to have.
Prince Harry turns 18. We'll continue. We're going to go to your phone calls very quickly, and we'll get in a lot of calls tonight for Robert Lacey, Kitty Kelly, Hugo Vickers, and Harold Brooks Baker. This is Larry King Live. Don't go away.
Who's doing? Come on,
So you've got to move because you're going to be
so
hit.
you're going to get hit. How can I reach that? That's nicer, that's better. Make me look good.
There must be 50 ways the arrow bed saves the day. Like reason 19, you've got the guest room, but no guest bed. Number 3, your guest bed invites your guest to go away. Relax. Just plug in the arrow bed. Push the button, and you have a comfortable, adjustable, extra bed in less than 1 minute. The new pump is recessed and is 30% more powerful, with quadra-coil construction for a smoother surface. It's even adjustable with our exclusive one-touch comfort control. And it can hold up to 650 pounds. Plus, it stores away in seconds. And now you can get the new and improved Aero bed at the same low price.
Call now to get the Aero bed for just 4 easy payments of only $33. Be one of the first 500 callers and we'll take off a payment. That's just 3 payments of $33.
Plus, get this free carry bag and get our 30-night money-back guarantee. How many ways will you use your Aero bed?
On September 11th, terrorists tried to change America forever. Well, they succeeded.
Congratulations, CNN presents. Now, winner of 4 Emmys for Outstanding Achievement from the Television Academy of Arts and Sciences. CNN presents, taking you on epic journeys, bringing you the unforgettable, showing you the extraordinary. CNN presents the most honored documentary series on television. Saturdays at 8 and Sundays at 7, only on CNN.
We'll be interspersing calls momentarily. Robert Lacey, is it true that Harry was quite angry over the coverage of the 5th anniversary of Di's death? Anger over a new book by her former bodyguard, anger over the way she has been kind of treated by the press. True?
That seems to have been the impetus for this identity he's forging on his 18th birthday. Apparently, at the beginning of the summer, his father said, look, it's coming up. You're going to have to pose. You're going to have to come out into the open more, something that neither boy really likes doing. And they spent the summer together, William and Harry. Their father organized a shooting lodge for them up in Scotland, where they could spend time on their own with girlfriends, drink, whatever. It was decided that for security reasons, they couldn't go to Europe to beach holidays. And apparently, Harry and William spent a lot of time talking to each other, and then this book came out just on the anniversary of their mother's death, the 5th anniversary of their mother's death, and they both felt, they were both outraged that somebody whose job was to keep things secret should be blowing the gaff. And so, yes, it certainly prompted Harry, apparently only 3 or 4 weeks ago, to say, I want to remind people of what a gutsy woman, that was his word, my mother was.
Let's include some phone calls as we move along. Greensboro, North Carolina. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
My question is, has Prince Harry shown interest in a particular charitable group in which Princess Di had been involved?
Kitty?
He has indeed. Great Ormond Street Hospital for Sick Children. He wants to get involved in a charity that deals with AIDS. The money from the pictures that you've been seeing and will see on this program will be donated to a charity called Merlin, which deals with third world causes. And he went to visit each one of these, and he has expressed interest in becoming involved in his mother's charities. Of course, he's going back to school, and he can't do it full-time. But what he wants to do in his gap year, he said, is play professional polo and do it for charity matches.
Now, explain that. He doesn't go, he gets off school a year. Where is he, like a high school graduate?
Well, he's at Eton now, and he has 1 more year, and then he gets what they call a gap year, which is a year William chose to go to Australia and to work and do charity work as well. Harry's made it quite clear that he too wants to go to Australia, but he doesn't want to do what William did. He would like to play polo, and he'd like to do it for charity. Oh. Now, his father is not pleased with that because, as we all know, polo is a rich playboy sport, rather elitist and terribly social. It's also very dangerous, but then Prince Charles was quite a polo player in his day.
Victoria, British Columbia, hello.
Hello. Can anyone speculate as to how the prince's life
would have turned out had their mother not died when she did?
Hugo, you want to take that one?
Yes, it's a difficult question to answer, really. I think that the bond that they've forged with their father, which is always very strong, but we were never really allowed to see it, has developed obviously in a way that it might not have done quite the same way had Princess Diana stayed alive. But of course they would have always been more drawn to him and the sort of things that he could offer them at the age that they were. I think that they have got on terribly well with him. I think he's been a very good father and friend to them over these difficult 5 years. And I think that the fact that now he wants to do something, Prince Harry wants to do something sort of, as it were, in memory of his mother, is actually the best possible way that her work could be carried forward. It seems to me to be a very sort of nicely moderated way of doing things, and without any of the attendant hysteria that has attached to her name, particularly in the last few months of her life and since she died.
Harold, the History Channel recently did a poll of 1,000 Brits, and they ranked Diana's death in 1997 as the most significant thing to happen in their nation in the past 100 years. World War II was number 2. Women getting the right to vote was number 3. Does that shock you?
No, I think it's exactly what I would expect. The love and devotion that the people of this country had for the Queen Mother and for the late Princess of Wales is extraordinary. And I don't think that it was really understood by all those in authority, either those at Buckingham Palace or those in politics. This love and devotion is such an extraordinary thing that it probably doesn't exist in any country today, nor has it ever really existed. And you will be certain that the late Princess of Wales will be remembered for 1,000 years from now, and probably she'll be more adored 1,000 years from now than she is right now, and that is really saying something. Elizabeth of Austria also has grown in importance over the years, but we're going through a period after the mourning period when people are rather quiet. But don't kid yourself, there are very few people who come along in history of this stature that create the amount of devotion that these people have.
Elliot Lake, Ontario, hello.
Hello, and thank you very much for taking my call.
Sure.
We were wondering if perhaps because this young man has been referred to as the spare in all of these years, are there any plans afoot, or is he presently being groomed for any part of the government, or to take over from his brother should anything happen?
Robert?
Well, I'm going to join in here with what Hugo was saying earlier, going to gang up against Kitty. I mean, what Harry's got to do here is a job. I mean, it's not a job where you go to work and you pick up your pay packet at the end of the week. But there are also, but these public occasions, for example, that he attends. Here we are. We're watching him at our memorial for September 11th this week. Now, one of the jobs that the British royal family does is represent Britain to the British people and to the world. And we find many people around the world are the more moved when a member of the royal family like Prince Charles and his son turn up and represent. Your Americans are more touched by watching this, and quite rightly so, than just by some hack politicians turning up to do it, although politicians also have a job to do. So the other area, of course, is charity work. In Britain, the whole field of philanthropy gets an enormous boost from members of the royal family. They choose their charities very carefully. They study them. They find out what's important about them when they go to one of these meetings. They don't just turn up. They've studied. They've found out who they'll be meeting, why they are important. It's an immensely difficult and consuming task. Of course, the Queen done it superbly. And yes, to answer finally your question, yes, that is the job for which Harry is being groomed. And it's a job in its own right, whether or not he ever becomes king and has to take over from William.
We'll take a break and be back with more and more of your phone calls on this edition of Larry King Live. Don't go away.
Hi, interested in earning free airline miles?
Sure.
Think you don't fly enough to earn them?
Yes.
Think miles are good on only one airline?
Yes.
Think again. Every day, more people are flying to more places free.
How? It's easy. With the Citibank Advantage World MasterCard.
Call now and you could get 1 mile for every dollar you spend and use your miles on over 20 top airlines. And now your miles never expire when you make a purchase with your card once every 3 years. Plus, we'll give you 8,000 bonus miles. Sound good?
Yes.
You'll earn miles on everyday purchases. And with no preset spending limit, you'll have the spending power you want. Call now and get 8,000 bonus miles. And before you know it, you could fly on over 20 top airlines, drive with every major car rental company, and stay at the finest hotels free. All with the miles that take you further. From Citibank Advantage World MasterCard. Perfect. Call about getting your Citibank Advantage World MasterCard and 8,000 bonus miles.
Can't seem to find what you're looking for? We've handpicked an afternoon lineup you're gonna dig. TBS Superstation's non-stop comedy block, premiering October 1st. No wonder they call it the Superstation.
A rare interview with top Christian conservative Dr. James Dobson. Can faith in God defeat evil? He'll take your calls on Larry King Live, CNN tomorrow, 9 Eastern.
Here's Greg Wentworth in the backyard at Wilsonville Chevrolet.
Don't you love these things? They're big, they're powerful, and just what you need for a really big backyard. But not at Wilsonville Chevrolet. We have 4.5 acres of Suburbans, Tahoes, trucks, and plenty of used SUVs. We just call it the big backyard because it's behind the showroom.
The pool is now open.
There's no pool. Cars, people. We're surrounded by cars.
Wilsonville Chevrolet, the dealer with the big backyard.
What makes CMT's Most Wanted Live can't miss country? Can't miss the Dixie Chicks making history again. Can't miss Willie pulling another song out of that old guitar. Can't miss Faith's sweet smile and Tim doing it his way. Most Wanted Live, Tuesdays through Saturdays at 7. It's Can't Miss Country, only on CMT.
Hi, I'm Greg Martin.
And I'm Katie Cook from CMT Most Wanted Live.
Check out our show on CMT, available on AT&T Broadband.
This is CNN.
We're back. Like another call for our panel. Morganville, Kentucky. Hello.
Hello. My question is, I would really like to know what kind of a relationship that Prince William and Prince Harry have with Camilla Parker Bowles.
Very good question, and we'll turn it to Hugo.
Well, it seems that they get on perfectly well with her. But I say it seems that they do. We don't know for a fact, because a lot of this information that comes comes via what we call spin doctors, and what you call spin doctors as well. And so it is assumed, though, that they do get on pretty well together. I suppose it's that they reckon that she's a good influence on their father. Perhaps he's a happier man when she's around, and the household is happier under those circumstances, and so all is considered to be well. There certainly is no animosity of any kind.
By the way, Kitty, are they going to get married?
I would say absolutely, Larry, and I'd say that we will probably see a wedding in the year 2004. I think that they wanted to wait until after the Queen's Jubilee. I think that Charles has been very adroit in moving the Church of England to allow now divorced people to remarry, and I think we definitely will see a marriage.
Delray, Florida. Hello.
Hi, I was just wondering how often William and Harry get to visit with Diana's brother, and how often do they get to her gravesite?
Good question. Harold, you want to take it?
Well, I think that it's perfectly obvious that the late Princess of Wales' brother is not playing an important part in the lives of these children as we had expected. Partially it's because of the very fiery speech he made at her funeral, which was moving but extremely disturbing and in many ways not respectful to the royal family. That must have had an effect which was somewhat negative on Charles and Harry, as well as, of course, other members of the royal family. But he doesn't seem to be playing an important part. And Also, he's had a rather large number of problems of his own divorce, his problems in South Africa. There is no question that they see relatively little of their uncle. But what they feel about him, no one really knows, except that they always have a kind word to say to the people who surround them at the palace. They
Kitty,
like him, but seldom see him.
Kitty,
Yes,
isn't
sir.
it true that aren't uncles and nephews usually pretty close?
Very close. Very, very close. In
Yeah.
this case, though, the Earl Spencer is not close to his two nephews. In fact, 2 months ago, he very directly criticized Prince Charles for never once visiting the Princess of Wales' gravesite. The royal family, I think, is rather embarrassed that the Earl Spencer has gone to such lengths to commercialize that burial place and is charging $17.50, as I understand, to people to visit it. But he was quite direct in his criticism of the Prince of Wales.
Auburn, Illinois, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Fine.
Thanks for taking my call,
Sure.
Larry. I'd like to ask the panel if Harry has any other plans of education, like university after his gap year, and what possibly would he study?
Robert?
Good question, which has been thrown into some question this summer. Harry, a year ago, got very good GCSE results. Those are the exams kids take in England when they're 16. The exam results he got this year were apparently not so good. Some say he failed, some say he got bad grades. And so now there is some question as to whether he will actually go to a university or college at the end of his schooling. He will almost certainly have this gap year we've been talking about. I don't think he will just spend it playing polo. One of the things he's actually mentioned recently is perhaps getting involved in one of the landmine charities that his mother was so noted for. He might go into the army. It's for a period at least. That's quite a tradition with the British royal family. He apparently has done military training at Eton, enjoyed it. It's also an option for William in the future. And I have to say, in Britain, a spell in the army as a young officer is considered a very good preparation for military life. Not just military life, civilian life.
Hooper, Nebraska, hello.
Hi, I was wondering, would the British people accept Camilla as queen if she marries Prince Charles?
Hugo, would they?
Oh, this question. I have always taken the line that Prince Charles has always said that he doesn't want to get married. It does seem as though he's heading in that direction much more. Somebody tried to persuade me the other day that this was a much more lasting love affair than, as it were, the Charles-Diana story, because in a sense they'd been together, they'd been apart, they come together again, they kind of seem to be destined for one another. The general line in this country is that people might accept her as his wife, but they don't particularly want her to be a queen in the fullness of time. Well, I think there are certain complications in that. I mean, if you go to Buckingham Palace to see the king as he would then be, what would her role actually be? I mean, would she be there? I mean, in which case, perhaps she should be queen. I don't know. It's a very, very difficult problem, I think.
Kitty, what do you think?
I think the British people would indeed accept her. I think they very much want Charles to marry her and to do it sooner rather than later so that it doesn't become a problem. Now it's a matter of where does she sleep in Buckingham Palace? How do we make these arrangements? How do we accommodate this? The Queen has made it quite clear over the last 2 years that she does indeed accept Camilla. I think it was hard for her. I think the divorce on both parts was very hard for her. But I think that she's come along now, and the new Archbishop of Canterbury, the man who's going to be coming in, has made it an official pronouncement that they can get married, which is a huge, giant step forward. So I think that they will get married, and I think that a king has a queen. And I don't think you can call her anything else. And I think that once they get married, the British people will accept it. They're very accepting people. They're very forgiving.
We'll take a break and come back with more and more phone calls on this edition of Larry King Live with our panel. We'll reintroduce the panel as well. Tomorrow night, the state of the family in the new millennium with Dr. James Dobson. We'll be right back.
Be sure and catch Larry King's special guest tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Sponsored by Post-it Notes and Post-it Flags.
Hi, Billy Mays here for Phone Free, the most revolutionary invention since the cell phone itself. Take a look at this. Phone Free is the first hands-free device designed with no wires, no plug-ins, and no hands. Phone Free transmits your conversation through the car radio speakers. Instead of hearing music, you hear the person you're talking to. So you get crystal clear sound. Just clip, press, and talk. It's that easy. Hi, this is Billy.
Hi, Billy. I'm just calling to confirm your appointment for today.
Okay, thanks for the call. In my car, Phone Free is the only one for me because I can drive and talk at the same time and still remain focused. Phone Free fits any phone. It's so compact and portable, you could take it anywhere.
It's so simple. I just clip it to my phone and start talking. And because I don't have to hold my cell phone with my hand, I feel much safer.
Phone Free transmits your conversation through the car radio speakers. Instead of hearing music, you hear the other person. Why pay a fortune for other complicated systems when you can simply clip, press, and talk? But call right now, and we'll also include the universal dash mount that is designed to hold any phone and installs to any surface easily. That means you get Phone Free and the universal dash mount, all for just $19.95. But you gotta call now. Here's how to order.
But wait, as part of this special promotion, now you can get 2 phone frees for the price of 1. That's right, call now and get 2 phone frees with universal mounts, all for the unbelievable low price of just $19.95. Don't wait. There's never been a better time to call.
Call 1-800-737-2252 to order the amazing hands-free wireless phone-free system. This exclusive limited-time offer is only available on TV. That's 2 phone-free systems for $19.95, plus shipping and handling. Phone Free is backed by our 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 1-800-737-2252. Call now.
CNN Tomorrow, in part 1 of our exclusive 3-part series. He was shot down while fighting in World War II. Now, former President George Bush tells how his experience shaped his future. On American Morning with Paula Zahn, 7 a.m. Eastern.
We once thought antibiotics were unbeatable, but if Americans overused them and risked the generation's health. I'm Wolf Blitzer. How doctors are being outwitted by new bacteria resistant to antibiotics. Tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern on CNN.
Prince Harry is 18. Let's reintroduce our panel, go back to more phone calls. In New York is Robert Lacey, best-selling biographer, veteran royal watcher. His latest book is Monarch, The Life and Reign of Elizabeth II. In Washington is Kitty Kelly, New York Times best-selling author of The Royals and other biographies. She's currently working on a book about 3 generations of the Bush family political dynasty. In London, Hugo Vickers, best-selling author, veteran royal watcher. His book on Prince Philip's mother, Alice, Princess Andrew of Greece, is now out in the United States. And Harold Brooks Baker is the publishing director of the famed Burke's Peerage. Back to the phone calls. Gardner, Maine. Hello.
Hi, Mr. King. It's nice to talk to you.
Thank you.
I was wondering of your panel and you, do you think the princes are feeling any pressure right now, any more than any other time, now that they've become of age?
Is there more pressure, Robert Lacey?
Oh, definitely, yes. I mean, there's pressure on everyone when they become adults, and in their case, they have this scrutiny. They have wise and witty people like us spending an hour talking about what they're going to do with their lives. Always a subject of embarrassment to young people, what adults think about them. So I think they are feeling the pressure, but let's not forget that when it comes to Harry, that we're talking about particularly today, he's now going back into the background. I mean, he's now going back to school for a year. Part of all the fuss that's going on at the moment is this long-term deal with the British press, that every so often you can have pictures of Prince Harry in a goal, kicking a football or whatever, and then let the lad go back to his school. So the pressure on Harry now is to do better in his school exams than he's done so far, and try and get to university or get good grades so he can go into the army with good qualifications.
Kitty, is there also pressure, do you think, on William, especially maybe now to get married?
Well, I think it will be for quite some time because he's so great looking, and the speculation will be such. But both boys now, the gloves are off. They're of age, they're legal, and while Harry will be going back to school, he is 18 and he has put himself into the public domain. So there will be a lot more scrutiny on Harry as well as on William. And I think, you know, nobody likes it.
McAllen, Texas, hello.
I would like to know if Prince William has a girlfriend.
Does he, Hugo Vickers, to your knowledge?
The great thing is that I'm unable to answer that question. We've heard of a number of girls that have passed through his life, but I like to think that he is able to have a certain amount of privacy, and if he has a girlfriend, I certainly don't know her name and can't tell you. But he's very attractive to girls, that we do know. But
Does anyone
that's a
on
good sign, and I hope that's not just me being inadequate.
Does anyone on the panel know if he has a girlfriend?
No, Hugo's absolutely right. It's one area that they keep very secret. There are two schools of thought. One school of thought is that Prince William gets a lot of leg over, which is a vulgar English expression for rumpy-pumpy and the good things of life. And then rumpy-pumpy. And then there's another school of thought which says, and I actually tend to this one, that he is so wary about the possibility of kiss and tell that actually dating and romance and that sort of thing are really rather difficult for him.
Kitty, have you ever heard that term before?
Rumpy Bumpy?
Yes.
No, that one I know about Wacky Backy, but I have never heard of Rumpy Dumpy. You know, Larry, William is so guarded and such a controlled young man. I don't want to use the word paranoid, but he is very, very careful about his relationships. If he has to go to a party, he'll only come and stay 30 minutes. He's very careful about who he chooses as friends. And both young boys really, they can't trust people around them. And they really do feel that business of kiss and tell because they've seen it with their mother's private secretary, her bodyguard, her friends, and there is now coming up in London a very scandalous trial involving Princess Diana's former butler. And I have a feeling this butler has been accused of taking a lot of things from the Princess of Wales, and what his lawyers would like to do, of course, would be to depose the young princes. And this is something that the royal family does not want at all.
Lakewood, New Jersey, hello.
Hi. I'd like to ask Kitty, does she think that Harry looks totally different from the rest of his family? And if so, who does she think he resembles?
Is she implying something in that question?
I think she is. I think she's very nicely trying to ask about the red hair on Prince Harry, and this has been a rumor that circulated for some time, and people have speculated that he might be the son of James Hewitt, who was his mother's lover. And we have people telling us that, of course, this isn't true, and I suppose we will never know definitely until and if there's DNA. But until that time, we have the bodyguard, Ken Worf, in his book saying that it absolutely isn't true. Now, the red hair could be from the Spencer side of the family, and it's about the best way I can answer that question for you.
We're going to take a break and be back with more. We'll get the thoughts on that from our other panelists as well, right after these words.
Hi, Billy Mays here for the Gopher, the handy helper that reaches so you don't have to. Use it for reaching up high or for picking up down low. In the laundry room, it's the best. It'll get that odd sock in that impossible-to-reach area. Any object, big or small, it grabs, fits, and lifts them all. If you can't get to it, then the Gopher's great. Grip and lift in one easy motion. With just one finger, the Gopher locks on so you can pick up, take out, and put back without any effort. The secret's the suction action, combined with the easy locking handle that gives you the power to reach without stretching or bending. Under the bed or under the sink, just squeeze and retrieve with one simple step. It picks up what you don't want to touch, and it's much safer than a stool or a chair. Use it outside in the yard. It takes the bending and reaching out of your daily chores. Whether you're small or tall, the Gopher has the power to pick up and reach it all. It's precise enough to pick up this paper clip, yet strong enough to hold this 5-pound bag of sugar. If you own a car, truck, boat, or RV, it's the perfect companion. When something's out of reach, just go for it. Similar products sell for as much as $35. Call now and you'll get the Gopher for only $19.99. But as part of this special offer, we'll upgrade your Gopher to the deluxe folding unit absolutely free. It folds for easy storage and still has the power to pick up like a pro. But call in the next 5 minutes and we'll double the value. We'll include a second deluxe Gopher absolutely free. That means you get 2 deluxe Gophers, a whopping $70 value, all for just $19.99. But you gotta call now. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-699-9955 to order the Gopher for $19.99. When you call, you'll get upgraded to the deluxe folding unit and get a second deluxe Gopher free with your paid order. You must be 18 or older to call. Call 1-800-699-9955.
While you're watching them, ever wanted to know what she's looking at? And what's happening back here? And where does this map come from? Well, quit wondering and come visit the world's news leader, CNN. We'll take you beyond the headlines and behind the scenes to show you what it takes to bring the world to your television every single day. You've never seen anything quite like this before. And when you're done, stop by the Turner store for a souvenir or a special video starring you. So what are you waiting for? Step inside the CNN Studio Tour, where you're in the news.
Before we take our next call, Robert, do you think that that Harry might not be Charles' son?
No, I think the evidence is much firmer than Kitty suggests. Harry's 18th birthday, we're celebrating it just at the moment, marking it now, September 1984. Now, by every account, Hewitt, the wicked Hewitt, and Diana didn't meet until 86.
Wrong, Robert. They did meet in 1981.
Well, they met at a polo match and shook hands. I don't think that's what produces offspring.
No, and I'm not saying that it is offspring. I am just answering the woman's question that this has been discussed by a lot of biographers. It's been in the public press, and it must be quite maddening to Prince Harry.
Oh, I quite agree, and I quite agree it's been discussed, but I think one should say very firmly that by every account, the affair did not begin until the autumn of 1986, when the boy was 2 years old. And as you also said, the red hair and his characteristics are Spencer characteristics. I mean, if one's looking for trouble, I have heard it said by people who were there soon after Harry was born, that Prince Charles was rather cross about the boy looking like a Spencer. Rather ungraciously, he complained about this new son of his. But but I don't think the Hewitt thing is a starter at all.
Okay, let me get another call. Belleville, Ontario. Hello.
Hi, I'd like to ask the panel, what role do they think that Fergie's daughters will play in the royal family, especially since they don't have a role like Harry does?
Hugo?
That's a very interesting question. They are, of course, princesses of the royal house, and when they were born, presumably it was expected that they would play a role. I personally think that they should be given the option at a certain age, and they're still too young, they're still both at school, but either they would take a part in royal life or they would opt out. Now, Prince Edward's children, if any are born of that marriage, will not be Royal Highnesses. They will not be princes and princesses in the same way that Princess Anne's children will be. So in a way, they are in a kind of rather interesting and unusual position. But if you think about it, we're always told that we have too big a royal family. But in fact, of course, as the years go on, it will diminish enormously, and you'll have Prince Charles and his 2 boys, Prince Andrew and his 2 girls, and Prince Edward and Princess Anne. That'll be the main royal family. So they may have a role to play, but I think they should be given the chance to opt out if they wish to.
Fort Pierce, Florida. Hello.
Hi, hello, Larry.
Hi.
I was wondering what kind of relationship does Prince William and Prince Harry share with their grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, and then what role does she play in their life?
Hugo? Yeah, let's Harold take this one so we go around in order. Harold, what role does she have with the Queen?
I think it's perfectly clear that the Queen is very fond of her grandchildren. You can see by the photographs that come in the press. You've seen the Queen on television at various events. I have seen her, the Queen, with these children several times, and they are very, very close family indeed. And the Queen is an immensely warm person with her grandchildren, far warmer than she was with her own children, with the exception of Prince Andrew, with whom she had a very special and still has a very special relationship. So I think that they're well looked after, and furthermore, Prince Philip has mellowed a lot in his old age and is very kind to everyone. So it's a much happier family than it was a few years ago, and it is no longer a dysfunctional family. It is a very closely knit organization.
Oceana, West Virginia, hello.
I guess my question to the panel is this. With the tragic death of Princess Diana, did it seem that one of the boys took it particularly harder than the other one?
Robert?
At the very moment when the news came through, in those first days after Diana died, yes, obviously, Harry apparently took it more easily, perhaps because he was younger. We don't know much about this, but we do know that when it came to a question of who would walk behind the coffin, that while Harry was quite happy to do that, William felt much more ambivalent about it. It is said that in the last few weeks of their mother's life, they were rather embarrassed, both boys, about her romance with Dodi Al-Fayed getting splashed all over the newspapers, and that William certainly even may have had rows with her about that.
We will take a break and be back with our remaining moments of this edition of Larry King Live with Lacey and Kelly and Vickers and Brooks Baker as we discuss Harry's 18th and other things. Royal, don't go away.
Tomorrow on an all-new Crossfire, it's the left versus the right live. Iraq opens its borders to weapons inspectors. The U.S. government isn't satisfied. Should America go after Saddam Hussein? You decide in the Crossfire, tomorrow, 7 Eastern. A rare interview with top Christian conservative Dr. James Dobson. Can faith in God defeat evil? He'll take your calls on Larry King Live, CNN tomorrow, 9 Eastern.
Here's Greg Wentworth in the backyard at Wilsonville Chevrolet.
Don't you love these things? They're big, they're powerful, and just what you need for a really big backyard. But not at Wilsonville Chevrolet. We have 4.5 acres of Suburbans, Tahoes, trucks, and plenty of used SUVs. We just call it the big backyard because it's behind the showroom.
The pool is now open.
There's no pool. Cars, people. We're surrounded by cars.
Wilsonville Chevrolet, the dealer with the big backyard.
Gary? Is that you, Gary Shandling? Your show is coming on our network.
Yeah, the Larry Sanders Show. They're going to start rerunning it on Bravo. That's right.
It's a great network.
Right.
You're welcome to the family.
Thanks so much.
When is your show on Bravo?
What night are you on?
What night are you on?
Weeknights.
There you go. We can be friends.
Yeah, we can be friends. I'm not going to.
No problem.
You were threatened. You're a little threatened by me.
Just a little. Well, you're taller than I am.
Say you want to buy a luxury sedan. There's no better way to make sure you're buying the right luxury sedan than to look at a lot of luxury sedans. At VHIX.com, you can do just that. VHIX.com lets you compare up to 3 cars side by side. Standard features, additional options, warranties, safety ratings, technical specs, and prices. The all-new, easy-to-use VHIX.com. Roadmap to the automotive world.
Defined abs. Everybody wants them, but few ever get them.
That's because most people don't know the real key to developing abs lies in 2 factors.
variety in training routines, and nutritional insights to reduce fat deposits so you can see results.
New from Fitness Made Simple comes Six-Pack Abs with John Bastow, the complete abdominal sculpting video. It offers 3 different home workouts and fat-fighting nutritional tips. Call now to order Six-Pack Abs or order online at our website, fitnessmadesimple.com.
This is CNN.
This is CNN.
Take another call. Chicago, hello.
Hi there. I would like to ask the panel if, now that he's 18 years old, does Prince William give Harry a lot of advice? Will he look out for him and maybe tell him how to handle his life now?
Kitty?
Yes. The answer to that is yes. William does an awful lot of advising to Harry. In fact, it was Charles who went to his oldest son and said, why don't you suggest to Harry that maybe he visit a drug rehab clinic when he got in so much trouble for the drugs he was doing several months ago. William is very, very protective of his younger brother. And I think that that was fostered by his mother, by the Princess of Wales. She always pointed out to them at an early age that William was the one who was going to become king and that they needed this close bond and that they should look out for each other.
Pittsburgh, hello.
Hi, Larry. Have the boys received any professional counseling or therapy outside the palace in order to deal with their mother's death?
Robert?
I don't believe so, no. Very interesting question. Therapy is still something rather mistrusted by the House of Windsor, of course, and the boys' mother's use of therapists, I mean, albeit New Age therapists, was rather looked down on by the family. I don't have a definitive answer, but I think most people would say, looking at them, that they seem pretty well adjusted and that whatever's worked within the family has worked well for all of them.
Hugo, is there any talk about the possibility of the Queen abdicating?
No, I'm very glad to say there is no talk about this at all. Well, there's talk about it occasionally, but it's always denied, and the Queen, in fact, stated very positively at when she went to the Houses of Parliament to receive the Loyal Address for the Golden Jubilee that she had no intention of abdicating. I am very pleased to hear this because I personally believe that a constitutional monarch gains in stature and value the older she gets, and I think that we need her, and I think that her breadth of knowledge and her wisdom and all the people that she's met over the years, you know, every president of the United States right back to President Truman, all this thing is a hugely valuable thing when you're in that advisory role, when you're a wise listener and advisor to the elected Prime Minister. So no, absolutely no abdication.
Harold, who holds the purse strings with regard to the money? I'm sorry, go ahead, Harold.
I think that this is an incredibly important question because people speak about Prince Charles as if he's going to be king tomorrow. It's very unlikely that he will be king for at least 20 or 30 years. And the Queen really is not able to abdicate because she was anointed with holy oil during the coronation ceremony by the Archbishop of Canterbury, and she will have to remain because she's pledged her word to God, her family, her people, to be there forever. And she's made that very clear. So whether there is a king in the future, which we hope there will be in Prince Charles, and whether Camilla Parker Bowles becomes his queen, is something that you and I'm afraid, Larry, will not be talking about. Our children and grandchildren will be talking about this. So it's
Robert?
a long way away.
Robert, where do William and Harry get allowances? Where do they get money?
They were left quite a lot of money by their mother because virtually all the divorce settlements, £16 million or so, what's that, $23 million, was split between them on trust. I understand, for example, that when they play polo, that comes out of their trust fund. Interestingly, they also paid inheritance tax on that money. But they have no state subsidy, and the taxpayer won't be considering supporting them until some future date when the government of the day says, all right, let's give them jobs. I have to say that in the long term, there's a certain thought in the royal family, a strategy developing whereby the royal family becomes self-sufficient and doesn't need taxpayers' money anymore.
Kitty, is Charles paid a stipend?
Well, as the Prince of Wales, he's one of the most wealthy people within the kingdom. The royal family is supposed to cost about, from as best estimates we can get, $50 million a year that the taxpayers pay to the Queen for the royal family. Now, Charles has got his own income, and it's quite substantial, quite substantial. He is now going to enter into a very interesting venture to support the farmers in England who have suffered so much from hoof and foot and mouth disease recently. He's going to be initiating a line of country clothes and perhaps garden furniture, and the proceeds are going to go to the farmers. So he certainly is using his position well to help others.
Kitty, may I take a quick moment and ask how the Bush book is coming?
It's fascinating. It's fascinating. It's coming well, Larry. If there's anybody who wants to contribute, please have them contact me. I'm going back to Prescott Bush. I'm talking about the former President Bush and now President Bush. Who would have ever thought that after 9/11, that we would have ever had 9/11, that it would have so fashioned this book in such an interesting way.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Robert Lacey, Kitty Kelly, Hugo Vickers, and Harold Brooks Baker as Prince Harry turns 18. We'll tell you about tomorrow night as we come back on Larry King Live right after this. Tally-ho!
Oh, Ned, it's Mom. Please come out.
I don't want to. You got a home loan from Ditech.com.
Well, if your bank had been on the ball, I might have given you more consideration.
Need cash to consolidate bills? Apply now for a second mortgage from Ditech.com.
By the way, your Uncle Willie called. He's tired of waiting, so he's calling Ditech.com.
You're not going to call Ditech, are you?
Ditech.com. Call 1-800-71-FIXED.
There must be 50 ways the AeroBed saves the day. Like reason 19. You've got the guest room, but no guest bed. Number 3. Your guest bed invites your guest to go away. Relax. Just plug in the AeroBed, push the button, and you have a comfortable, adjustable extra bed in less than 1 minute. The new pump is recessed and is 30% more powerful with quad-recoil construction for a smoother surface. It's even adjustable with our exclusive one-touch comfort control. And it can hold up to 650 pounds. Plus, it stores away in seconds. And now you can get the new and improved AeroBed at the same low price.
Call now to get the AeroBed for just 4 easy payments of only $33. Be one of the first 500 callers and we'll take off a payment. That's just 3 payments of $33.
Plus, get this free carry bag and get our 30-night money-back guarantee. How many ways will you use your AeroBed?
One waged a war against freedom, the other fought for creative liberty, and in 1940, they met in a battle for the hearts and minds of the world. TCM presents the story of Charlie Chaplin, Adolf Hitler, and the film that laughed in the face of fascism, with the world premiere documentary, The Tramp and the Dictator, narrated by Kenneth Branagh, Tuesday, October 1st, followed by The Great Dictator, only on Turner Classic Movies.
He scaled the tallest mountains in the world, an inspiring accomplishment, especially since he's blind. Connie talks to the amazing mountain climber who beat the odds to make history. Only on CNN tomorrow, 8 Eastern.
America Decides, and CNN is there with the latest news straight from the campaign trail. For complete coverage from the most experienced team of reporters and analysts anywhere, stay up to the minute. Stay with CNN as America Decides.
Give me a really different and interesting way to tell the story. Who connects the story? Seattle